commercial city of Onitsha comes Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region. Where authentic news and entertainment meet. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
When politics unfolds, when decisions are made, we reveal the impact. Welcome to the Polity, your deep dive into the forces shaping governance, policies, and power. From the halls of government.
You were there. I was not there. Check the record. Wait now. You were there. I was not there.
To the voices of the people.
We are suffering. This suffering is too much. It's too much. Look at the students. There's no job. They're feeling school. There's no job for them.
We analyze the undercurrents, expose the intrigues, and break down the narratives that define our democracy. Dr. Tony Olisanbeki delivering razor-sharp analysis, and Ibuka Franklin and Chisom on the question wheel, driving the conversation. We bring you the most compelling discussions on governance, policies, and power plays. Stay informed, stay engaged, stay ahead. The Polity, every weekdays at 9:15 a.m. Exclusive on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha.
Okay, thank you for staying tuned to the Radio 104.7 FM. It's at 17 minutes past 9 a.m. and we are saying welcome to the Polity on the seriously authentic radio station, transmitting from the commercial city of Anambra State. Onitsha, Anambra State is the home base of Udala Radio, and we are glad to have you this very morning. Join us on this hour program that focuses on headlines from various newspapers and conversations on the most topical developments in the Polity. We are glad to have you, and also to remind you that we are always live on our Facebook page, Udala Radio 104.7 FM. If you get on that very page now, you will see a video that has popped up, and you can follow us, drop your comment there. Then on Instagram and the YouTube, we are Udala Radio. If you want to get more information regarding Udala Radio, you can visit www.radioudala.com. You get all the information you need about Udala Radio and any other thing you might want to find out there. Maybe if you want to know about some of the broadcasters you do here on this very station, all their profiles are there on this very website. So thank you for joining us this very morning. We have a couple of things for us to look out for. Of course, today happens to be the inauguration of the governor of Anambra State for his second term. As I'm talking to you now, Oka is already agog because from what I gathered, people are already arriving Dr. Alex Ekwime Square for this very event. And if you go around the city, you see heavy presence of security personnel to ensure that there is law and order. Then we leave that, talk about what happened in Anambra a few days ago, where a woman made a video and talked about how policemen under Opiweka flyover, I prefer to call it, kidnapped her husband and extorted 200,000 naira from him. As we speak now, we learn that the officers have been identified and detained. It's in the news. Then yesterday we heard about bomb explosion in Maiduguri, and as we speak now, we are not too sure of the number of casualties, but all we can confirm is that many people were injured, and there were casualties too, because from NEMA and also from police confirmed that there were casualties, but the number is not known now. Then there's also one development in the politics, which is the twin accident that happened, from Kaduna to Abuja, and that made me to go and do small research about all these train derailments and the accidents we have had in Nigeria since we launched train services again. Guess what? I found out that we have had not less than 183 derailments in a matter of 3 to 4 years. and that might want you to that may make you to ask questions about, is it that we don't have the competence to operate rail service, or there's something we're not doing right? And then too, Mr. President is leaving Nigeria today for UK for the historic visit, and as we speak, we know that they are making preparations to leave Nigeria for that very event. So all these things we are going to see on the paper this very morning. But I'm not alone today because the woman is there. Chison Chinedu. Happy Monica.
Good morning to you, Franklin. It's almost beginning to look like I'm a visitor on the Polity on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I think I'd have to do something about that. But of course, when you talked about train derailments in Nigeria in recent times, the big question would be around why we always want to copy things and not copyright. Before now, we've had train services working during the days of the colonial masters, and if you go through research books, down history books, you'd find out that probably because of proper management, better servicing, better maintenance. Like I would always say, one of the biggest issues we have in Nigeria, and we still have in Nigeria, is our bad maintenance culture. You'd find out that we had fewer incidents back in the day. And it's more surprising that with inventions, technology, and even better access, we have even more technicians on ground now, I do say. I mean, we can afford to hire one or two expatriate engineers to work in our own, train engineering sectors and all of that, and even train more people to do the job. We still keep having these breakdowns. It's because of our culture. We don't have good maintenance culture. We are very corrupt, unfortunately, and I'm hoping that someday we'd actually start to take things better, more seriously, and handle things better. Because train is supposed to help with cost of transportation. It's a lot cheaper, and also it has all the benefits that a lot of Nigerians really enjoy. So it would be really nice if we handle that sector of transportation better. And then when you talked about the police officers that kidnapped, quote and unquote, now a man here in Onitsha. I mean, Upper Wika is just by the corner here. It's going to be an isolated. No, it's not going to be an isolated case. Rather, it's not isolated. However, how many are reported? I'll give you an instance. The excesses of men in black uniform is one that we have complained about every now and then on this platform. And so you go to our roads. I'll use the magazine to Y Junction Road that has been under construction since January, thanks to the governor, Professor Charles Chikumasaludo. For some time now, the road has been undergoing construction. We have construction materials encroaching into the road. But you know what these police officers do? They just go back a bit. They go down a bit. Amalto. You get to the police station at 33 Junction, not forgetting the fact that there are a lot of abominable potholes in that axis. But what would they do? They will mount tow. And you start to ask yourself, where is the humanity in the average Nigerian? So year in, year out, every single day, Nigerians are made to queue up. Yes, Nigerians are made to queue up in the scorching sun, waiting for these men to pass vehicles. And you know what? They don't pay any attention to private vehicles unless the car is flashy and the driver is a young boy. That is the only time and attention is paid to that vehicle. They just collect toll from tricycle drivers, give them numbers 17, 9, 12. That is all you hear. No one actually is out there to secure the people. But I mean, good morning to you. Welcome to Nigeria once again.
Okay, all right. See, that was a pathetic scenario. You know, Jason painted the picture of what Nigerians go through on a daily basis, especially for those of us here in Anambra State. I must say this. I think Onitsha is a peculiar case because Inoka is not as rampant as it is here. Any road I pass through, if I go through this very good Uguta road or whatever, somewhere, I get to meet them. What do they do in the evening? Just to collect money. They don't do any nothing like any stretch. And those ones under that flyover, what they do, they just collection of money. Nothing else. But of course, when we talk about, when we go into the analysis, we're going to look more into that very development to tell you what the police is doing about that very one. So I told you about the train derailment from 2020 to 2026. 183 cases of derailment, and it's a big question.
No, give or take 20. What? Yeah, at least 20 every year.
In 2020, 61 cases were recorded. But let's talk about the bombing that happened in Borno State. I just got a confirmation that 23 people have been confirmed dead from that very bomb explosion. It was a multiple bomb explosion. It happened in 3 places at the same time. And police has now confirmed that 23 people were killed, while 118 persons were injured in this very bombing incident in Borno State. But let's look at the headlines first before we get to go into the analysis. But before then, we have a guest in the studio. We have a Chivo Kildeza. He's a security consultant. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Frank.
Okay. So let's go to the headlines now. And we have 4 newspapers: This Day, Vanguard, Punch, and Guardian newspaper. We'll begin with the headlines we have on This Day. And the big story there says Tinubu begins 2-day historic state visit to UK today. He has plenty of riders there, so I'm going to ignore the riders now and move over to the next headline. Magnus Abbey, oil price spike offers revenue boost for Nigeria, on page 33. If you check other pages, you will see headlines like NATO, EU allies reject Trump's demand to help open Strait of Hormuz. Talking about the war going on in Iran. I don't know when it's going to end, because EU is not keying into what Trump wants, and Iran is not backing down anytime soon. Inflation continues downward trend. Dropped to 15.06% in February, 12 straight monthly decline. Food inflation elevated, severe in Anambra, Kogi, Benue, and others. And I'm asking, I don't know why it is. So sometimes I try to do a comparison of the cost of living in state, and I discovered that Anambra is highly expensive in comparison to some other states in the southeast.
More than it is expected to be, especially
Exactly.
since we have certain agrarian communities in Anambra. It's expected that at least food will be cheap, but when you look at the cost of housing in Anambra, it's crazy. And to think that it's even getting worse. When you hear conversations around private building owners, especially with the urbanization that Governor Soludo is doing, better roads and everything, people are not even thinking of houses becoming cheap. But I think that maybe the government gets involved in low-cost housing, it would answer the question.
Okay, so the final headline we are going to take on the front page of this day says multiple explosions hit Maiduguri, many feared killed. That story can be found on page 32.
All right, then, from the This Day newspaper, let's go over to The Guardian. And the banner headline on The Guardian newspaper: Middle East crisis, international travel squeeze. Tickets spike by 100% as airlines cancel flights. Find this on page 6. Inflation eases to 15.06% despite slight rise in food prices. We already know why. The Iran-US-Israeli war and what it's doing to fuel price. Unfortunately, it's going to be reflecting on everything. Find that story on page 15. Zulum condemns Maiduguri explosion, calls for calm vigilance on page 2. NCDC records 109 deaths, 469 cases of Lassa fever in 2026. Find that on page 4. Police counter a fan over arrest of bandits at Akure Airport on page 5. Presidency kicks as ADC alleges plot to make Tinubu sole presidential candidate on page 6. ISO World Advisory Board plans awards to promote standards economic progress on page 5. And finally, we have 3 more stories here. Nigerians anticipate improved ties as Tinubu departs for UK on page 3. Falano Adegboruwa thought reintroduction of sanitation exercise in Lagos. Find that on page 5. Oyedele sworn in as finance minister, vows to drive revenue fiscal reforms on page 3.
Okay, so over to the Punch newspaper. The big story says FG activates evacuation plan as Middle East crisis worsens. On page 2, it has riders. FG engages Nigerian embassies, NAV, and airlines to facilitate safe return. Iran envoy says Nigerian residents can exit via safe land borders. Emirates suspend Dubai operations, worsens travel uncertainties for Nigerians. Beside the nameplate, the headline there says Tinubu promises tariff relief for media companies. On page 14, Food inflation hits 12.12% as input costs soar on page 33. Petrol diesel vessels arrive Nigeria amid price surge. Why imported petrol still enters Nigeria? NMDPRA is the one trying to explain this on page 33 of the Punch newspaper. Probe begins after Kaduna Abuja train accident injures passengers. And the headline says, bomb explosions hit Maiduguri after security forces repel insurgent attack on page 45. Police seek help to identify woman's body found in Oyo on page 8. And the last one says, Oyedele vows tax reforms implementation after swearing in on page 44.
Now let's go over to the Vanguard newspaper, where the banner headline here is, after 6-month break, food inflation resumes upward climb, rises 12.12%. On page 5, the riders here driven by hiking prices of beans, yam flour, others. Kogi, Benue, Anambra record highest headline, food inflation rates, Katsina, Imo, Ebonyi lowest. Interesting. A scores feared dead as multiple explosions rock Maiduguri on page 6. Nigerian artists raking 60 billion naira on Spotify in 2025. On page 9, Strait of Hormuz, EU rejects Trump's demand for help on page 8. Southwest leaders to FG governors collaborate to tackle insecurity. Find that on page 15. I did an interview with Mefiele during probe. EFCC witness. Turaki's PDP to APC. You are delusional. On page 26, the writer here says the factions won't kill opposition. Are you sure about that? Okay. President Tinubu's historic UK state visit on page 16. Isn't this the same one, Frank? They said it's a plot to embarrass Mr. President.
Yes, I heard the Minister of Solomon Minerals, Delarake, saying so that one mining company that was not even listed as one of the mines in Nigeria was trying to embarrass the president when he gets to UK.
Interesting. Supreme Court affirms AMCON's sale of Lagos Continental Hotel for 22 billion on page 8. Hardship. Civil servants demand 154,000 minimum wage. Page 8. Isn't it supposed to be reviewed after 5 years?
Well, the thing is this, I can't remember the last time that an agreement was kept here in the country.
Okay.
Or things are done the way they're supposed to be done. You know, those things are there in the law, but they are there to decorate the books.
Interesting times. States account for 48% public spending. That's from Bagudu on page 5.
Okay, so these are the headlines we have this very morning on the front pages of these very newspapers. Of course, we're going to begin the analysis, but before then, I just to remind you that this week is Udala 1 year anniversary week, and already it has already kicked off. Yesterday there was an event, and today we have another event happening today. So you are going to see some of us on the road today, you know, doing Seva today, tomorrow, and other days. Okay, so
and of course, we're going to be out every day of this week doing something. Now, speaking about what we did yesterday, Frank, would you want to throw more light on that?
Well, you know, the thing is this: any corporate existence or corporate organization has a way of giving back to the society in what they call corporate social responsibility.
Amazing.
Because that's na ebony because na wachi. Of course, there is a way that you have to relate with the environment, and it's part of your PR, part of that relationship, part of that service to humanity. So that very yesterday, some indigent patients, you know, got some relief courtesy of Udala Radio, because Udala Radio went to some hospitals where they had to, you know, help to offset their bills, and I must say that it was a good one, and we commend the management of Udala Radio for thinking through that very one, like what the CEO. So commendation to every one of them.
Yes, sure. One of the persons we met at one of the hospitals yesterday said, "Enyendeba, enyendeba." So as we have been given, we are giving back, and of course we try to, you know, spread it. If we're not giving everything, we are helping people, you know, have less to worry about. And speaking about that, possibly in the nearest future, we'll be doing something about some persons also live on Udala Radio. So you keep your fingers crossed and don't touch the dial.
Okay, so that's the message coming from us here from the Radio 104.7 FM, and don't forget that you are the reason why we are here. So this very anniversary, you also get involved in one way or the other. So we are glad to have you join us today on this very program. So we are going to talk about the big things happening today, or the big things we have on the paper this very morning. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now. You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, it's now 9:35 a.m. and you are listening to the Polity on the Radio 104.7 FM, where we get to tell you the headlines and then do our analysis on the basic issues as contained in these very papers. My name is Franklin Ebuka. Chief Sontinedu is here, and then we have our guest, Chief Okeudeze, who is a security consultant. And interestingly or coincidentally, we have a story about the police. And if for all the while I have known you and police have been 5 and 6. So today you have to say something about this very thing, because the story we have is this: that 6 officers attached to Boko Police Division in Onitsha, Anambra State, they have been detained over the alleged involvement in the extortion of 200,000 naira from a man, using point of sale POS operator. Now this thing happened under the Opiweka flyover. Of course, anybody who passes through Onitsha will know that place is like a starting point for the police. Anytime you pass there in the afternoon, in the evening, you are going to see them. That was where it happened. And according to the narration of the wife of the man, she said that the husband left the house, went to the market to buy some drinks. She waited for a long time. She didn't hear from the husband. She was calling his line. His line was switched off, unreachable. She got worried until several hours before the man surfaced and told his story, how he got there with the drinks he bought. The policeman, asked him to bring vehicle papers. He presented, and all of them were valid. And they said that the color in the paper, the color of the car or the vehicle in the paper is different from the color that the vehicle bore at that particular time. And that was how they told him to go and see the Oga somewhere. The moment he was advancing to the vehicle and entered the side, 2 policemen entered by the side and they zoomed off. And they drove him around so many places, threatening him that they are going to kill him unless he gives them 500,000 naira. At the end of the day, the man was terrified. He had to transfer 200,000 naira to them to save his life. But the wife said, no, it's not going to end here. We have to take this off. That was why she now went to the police division, where she met the DPO, and DPO helped in tracking these very people. So the statement from the police now is that these people have been detained, and they are going to face disciplinary action according to the police rules. But what is interesting is that police said that people who were involved in this, they identified 2 assistant superintendent of police and 4 inspectors who were involved in this. And they said they are going to also see how they can arrest the POS operator, because they seem to be working together in this very evil business. So, Chief, okay.
Yeah.
Police and this extortion, it has become marriage made in heaven. It's become like a bread and butter or something inseparable. And we are wondering, is it part of the policing system? Is it that this is peculiar to us? Is there anything we can do to reform police to stop this act of extortion we see on a daily basis?
Well, it's very unfortunate. The acts of extortion attributed to the police, and with no end in sight. I think the water got stirred even from the top. You see, a situation where it is said, it's alleged that returns are made to the office, maybe a sort of encouragement to this kind of this type of acts, such as we have witnessed. But I want to tell you, Frank, that these things happen all too frequently. Most of it are not reported. Thank God for the courage of the wife of the man who said no. She was going to get to the root of that, and she indeed got to the root of it. And then she also, did a video that went viral and got to the right quarters. I hope this serves as a deterrent to our police officers, particularly those on the road. I want to also advise the general public. This thing happen, like you said, more frequently in Onitsha, because this is one place where people don't know their rights. At the sight of a policeman, an armed policeman, people get frightened even when they have no reason to be. And the policeman watches your comportment and sees that is able to tell that you are afraid, and that is when they take the opportunity to do the kind of things that has just been reported. So my advice to people: if you don't have anything to hide, you don't need to show fear when you see a policeman. Of course, you have to be courteous. You don't have to be rude, but then you also have to be firm and stand your ground. There are certain things that can happen and that won't happen if you are ready to stand your ground. Make it clear to the policeman that you have not committed any offense and that you don't see any reason why you are going with him to anywhere. A 20-year-old vehicle that has been on the road for 20 years with no report made that such a vehicle is stolen, and somebody is here demanding for the custom papers of that vehicle. Of course, that ought to tell you that they are looking for something, because where will you find the custom papers of a vehicle that is 20 years old? What you at most will get is the license and the insurance, which is exactly what you need to be on the road. So please, people, know your right. Stand up to the police officer respectfully, make it clear that you will not be extorted. And once they see that, I am on the road most of the time. I mean, you don't carry on your forehead the fact that you're a police consultant, but somehow when they see you and see the way you compose yourself, they'll just wave you through. And so I just want to advise people, and then commend also the police authority that took this up. Of course, you can't put it beyond Ikioye, CP Ikioye Orutugu. He does not, he is somebody that does not send you out there to get him any return, and if you are caught in such act, he deals ruthlessly with you. I know him to that extent. And so I wouldn't put it beyond him to do what he's doing. I know that once this thing gets to his table, it will be addressed, and that is exactly what has happened. And then we, of course, have seen the release by his PPRO, Ikenga, and the condemnation. I know that this policeman that we know will soon be given a room trial may be sacked at the end of the day. I hope to God that it serves as a deterrent to other police officers.
Something worries me, and that worries the fact that police will always tell you that we don't tolerate unprofessionalism. And we have seen cases where different policemen were dismissed because of one misconduct or the other. Some of them, they go through their own trials, some will suffer even demotion and what have you not. But these people continue to do this thing unabated. So I'm wondering, what embodies them to keep on doing this, despite the fact that there are punishments somewhere?
Well, I just told you that this is one isolated case where the perpetrators were caught. They get away with it most of the time. There are so many unreported cases. The people here don't want to waste time over reporting such incidences and wasting their time, the time they used to pursue money. And that is why these things happen. You rightly have said that it does not seem to deter them. Because
so what about sometimes when you see people who try to stand up to police, they are manhandled, they are beaten black and No, black and blue. In fact, I know a case of a lawyer here in Onitsha who once went for a matter of his client. Lawyer was also beaten by the police.
Well, Frank, I've just told you something here. The policemen are also human beings. It depends on the way you approach the officer. You don't have to be confrontational. At times, a joke, and will disarm the policeman, and he's like, "Who can this be?" And he allows you to go away because he does not want to get into trouble too. But then, and at times when you stand up to them and you are shouting, and of course, you might incur the wrath of the officer, and then we see situations where the person is being manhandled. And like I said, most people don't follow this thing through. They don't seek redress from the right places. Thank God for the woman and the video she did. When I saw that video, I knew that at the end of the day, something will be done to address this situation, and that's exactly what happened.
Okay, you've said a couple of quite interesting things. Okay, Udeze, and one of them actually stuck. People knowing their rights in this part of the world. I'll give you an instance. You go to Oka, like Franklin rightly pointed out, the behavior of police officers, the disposition is different. Go to Asaba, the disposition is different. Or find yourself on the streets of Abuja, the disposition is entirely different. It looks like everybody's trying to be careful. You don't know who is who. And word on the street is that Onitsha is the bane of lawlessness, the one place they come and they are allowed to behave as they please. And I really would like to know why. And then again, you talked about, and also I'd like to know how we can go about people knowing their rights. You talked about approaching them with politeness. I'd also concur, it works all the time. A smile here, officer, well done, anything for the boys. Now them go even laugh, tell you, okay, you want to collect, or you know, stuff like that. Yes, also, but some of them are also very unnecessarily mean. And if Ikyoye doesn't send anybody to the streets to go and get him returns, who is sending them? Why not get to the root of it by finding those in also superior offices in the police force, sending them? I'm pretty sure that if he decides to, he can fish out these orgas that sent them out to the road to bring returns. That's one thing I'd also want to know. Why is he not digging deep to fish the people sending these people out?
I think these are things that a trial will throw up. If the policemen will not decide to be tongue-tied and refuse to talk about those who said them, then we might see hairs rolling. Yes, I agree with you. And I've already said it. There are times when these people are sent out, it is expected that they'll come back with returns, and if they don't come back with returns, they don't get sent out again. Other people takes their place, and so maybe because they have to make these returns, they go out of their way to extort people, and they know that when the report gets back to those who have sent them, they'll have their back. So let's hope that this trial would throw up, would reveal, would open up a can of worms, so that this thing will be addressed once and for all. And then I want to also talk about the issue of the level of extortion and human rights violation of people around the Onitsha environment. This is predominantly a business environment, and in most cases, some of these businessmen are not very literate. Even the literate ones with prolonged exposure to that environment now even begin to forget where they are coming from. If the people knows their right and are able to stand up, to certain things that are not right, it will not continue to happen. Lawyers around here make a lot of money because when they get to learn of these cases, most cases they take it up and pursue it to very logical conclusions. And I just hope that with time people will be exposed to education, that you're a trader does not mean that you shouldn't seek to get an education. It will even help to enhance your business, and particularly now that everything is being computerized, people don't have a choice but to get some form of education. With education comes knowledge, and comes one knowing their right, and then it begins to address. That's why you find that in places like Abuja, Enugu, Oka, where you find predominantly literate people in very civilized environment, these things are curtailed as much as possible.
Okay, so let's get to the next issue, which is about the bomb blast that happened in Borno, or let's say in Maiduguri, Borno capital. It happened yesterday, and I spoke earlier that the police has confirmed that a total of 23 persons were killed, while 108 persons sustained injuries after the 3 bomb blasts that detonated on Monday night. From what the police spokesperson Nahum Kenneth Dasso said, he said that the blast happened in 3 places: Maiduguri Monday Market, University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital Gate, and the post office flyover area of Maiduguri. And he confirmed this number of incidents. And I'm wondering, the last time we heard about bomb blasts in Nigeria was that was in December 2025, 24 December. A mosque was bombed in Maiduguri, and 5 people were killed and dozens injured. But now, March 16th, yesterday, 23 casualties, over 100 injured. Are we going back to the dark era when Maiduguri was no-go area? Or you can say that this is just an isolated case?
Well, I'm hoping that this will be an isolated case. There has been a resurgence in the acts of terrorism, especially in Borno State. The governor is doing his utmost best, and Maiduguri has been one of the safest places in that particular state, where people escape to when they come under attack in their rural areas, or their rural towns villages have been taken over by bandits and by terrorists. They find their way to Maiduguri and relatively enjoy relative peace in that town. The focus of this terrorist on that particular town that has been very peaceful, except for 1 or 2 isolated cases, is very unfortunate indeed. It just calls for extra vigilance by the people, which is what the governor has advised and is calling for people to be extra vigilant, because you have a group of people that the army has turned the heat on them, and has recorded quite a lot of successes, finding their way back to Borno State, where you have a lot of very, very wide ungoverned spaces. The forest there, the proximity to Lake Chad, and all of it are what helps to heighten the state of insecurity. There is going to take quite a lot of effort, a lot of deployment of technology to be able to man and monitor all those ungoverned spaces in Maiduguri. It's unfortunate that the geographical location of that state made it possible for insurgents to operate, especially in that area. So when you are chasing them from one part of the country, they are finding their way back to where they know that they will be able to get a base to operate from. And that is the bane of the problem of the people from Borno State.
I think that is the bane of the fact that we have reactive security as against proactive security. Because if we had proactive security, Chief Oke, you'd agree with me that there'll be no safe space.
Yeah, we'll get there. By proactive, of course, you need to develop your intel to a very high level where information will be readily available on the activities of these criminals. We are yet to get there. And most times what we do is react to criminal situations instead of taking steps to ensure that they don't even happen at all. But here is hoping that we'll get there.
Okay, so we have a commercial break now to attend. When we return, like we told you, that today is the swearing-in ceremony of our Governor of Anambra State for the second term, and we have our team right there in Oka. Atono Disambeki is also right there, so we're going to hear from all of them and have a feel of the environment and what is getting close to. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM.
Onitsha ndị nwe ahịa, nke a bụ ụzọ anyị si asị unu daalụ maka ọmarịcha otu afọ nke nzikọrịta ozi Udala Radio dị otu afọ n'ọnwa Maachị a. N'ọnwa Maachị a niile, Udala nwere onyinye pụrụ iche maka ịgba afọ ọhụrụ a. Ịzụta advert slot abụọ, inwe otu mgbakwunye onyinye n'efu. Ịnụrụ nke ọma, ohere nke mgbasa ozi ahịa, ozi ọbụla maọbụ nke program, ịkwụ ụgwọ, nweta ohere abụọ, anyị agbakwunyere gị otu. Nke a bụ ohere ị nwere ime ka ndị Ọnịcha n'obodo ndị ọzọ nụ ma mara maka ahịa gị. Gbata ọsọ ozugbo n'ihi ohere ọ pụrụ iche a malitere ugbu a ma bụrụ nke ga-abịa n'isi njedebe n'ụbọchị nke 31 n'ọnwa Maachị nke afọ a, n'ọnwa mgbakwunye afọ Udala. Maka ndebanya na ajụjụ, kpọọ anyị na 0803-350-4206 maọbụ ịbịa n'ụlọ ọrụ anyị dị n'Ọnịcha na nọmba 5 Okono Street n'okirikiri DMGS Roundabout. Ya bụ inwe ike ịkpọ anyị na 0803-350-4206 maọbụ ịbịa n'ụlọ ọrụ anyị na nọmba 5 Okono Street n'okirikiri DMGS Roundabout Ọnịcha. Udala Radio emeela otu afọ n'ọnwa Maachị a, ọkpọkọpi n'ezie. The board, management and entire staff of Anambra State Housing Development Corporation, ASHDC, Oka, warmly congratulate His Excellency Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo, CFR, Oluwatwe, and his deputy, Dr. Onyekachukwu Ibezim, on their inauguration for a second tenure in office. This well-deserved mandate reflects the confidence of Anambra in your visionary leadership and commitment to the transformation of our state. As a key agency in housing and urban development, ASHDC proudly aligns with your vision of building a livable and prosperous homeland for all. We reaffirm our loyalty and dedication to supporting your administration's development agenda. We pray that God grants you wisdom, strength, and good health as you continue to lead Anambra State to greater heights. Congratulations once again, Your Excellency. Signed, Chike Anyono, Managing Director for Anambra State Housing Development Corporation, ASHDC, Oka.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, thank you for staying tuned to Udala Radio 104.7 FM. You are listening to the Polity. My name is Franklin Lebekan with Chison Chinedu, and we have our guest here, Chief Okeudeuze, who is a security consultant. He's live with us. So I told you that today's inauguration for second term of our Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, and I told you that our team is out there in Oka because we're going to bring you live transmission of development from that very area. Also, Tony Sambeki is also there at Dr. Alex Ekweme Square. So we have our correspondent Ben Chinwalamogunwora, who is there. We are going to link up with him so that we'll be able to get to know what is happening there before we proceed from the studio here. So the next voice we are going to hear will be his voice, so that we'll have this very conversation. Hello, Mr. Ben, good morning.
Yes, Mr. Ben, good morning. Good morning, Dr. Disambeki. Good morning,
Okay, so Mr. Ben, what is happening right now as we speak? Because we can hear noise at the background.
Yes, indeed. It's a colorful atmosphere right here at the Alex Ekweme Square in the capital city of Anambra State. The sound you are hearing from the background is the well-aesthetic, well-decorative men and officers of the Nigerian police force having right here.
Okay, so far, how is the environment? Are people arriving? What are we expecting?
Yes, so far so good. People, dignitaries are trooping in great numbers. Government officials, stakeholders, opinion leaders, they are all coming. Party enthusiasts, they're all coming in great numbers here, and they are being welcomed. Past governors, they're equally here, and we are looking forward that in no distant time, Chukwuma Soludo will be here together with Dr. Ibezim.
Okay, so we understand that there are some persons who are being expected from the presidency to be there. I got somewhere that the vice president might be here in Anambra State. Can you confirm that? Did you hear about that?
So far, so good. I have not been able to have access to that information, so I'm here to confirm and correspond back to you.
Okay, so what about security? Okay, just let's talk about security.
Okay. So the security aspect here in Oka is top notch. The aerial, the surveillance, the expert riders, the Nigerian police force, the mobile police force, all paramilitary agencies, they're all here. Even the secret services, the DSS, they're all here, well equipped.
Okay, so we hope that in the coming minutes we'll be able to link up again by the time the event starts, because we know that the event was scheduled to begin by 10, but of course the African time always comes into play.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So once we have the information, you can correspond to us so that we'll be able to bring it live to the people.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ben.
All right.
Okay, so like I said, our correspondent right there in Oka bringing that information from that very environment. So, Chief, the governor is getting sworn in for the second term in Anambra State. Some places we are saying that second term could be a tough time, but the governor is saying second time will be an uplift of what we have seen in the first term. What are you expecting?
I really want to see an improvement on the last tenure of the governor. Yeah, we had some teething problems, especially with security, but towards the end of our tenure, the governor introduced Udogachi and rejigged the security of Anambra State, and we saw the security men taking the war to the criminals into the forest around Anambra State and dislodging them. But that has been done, and it has recorded a very huge success, a very resounding success. going forward, but he also had his own problems. And what are those problems? We saw so many security informal security operatives who are not able to, who are not properly identified. It became difficult at a point to know who the security operatives are and who the criminals are. A situation where uniforms are procured in the market, ID cards are procured in the business centers, and all of that. It led to one not being able to distinguish between the criminals and the security operatives. And I think that we need very much to check that aspect of the operation and be able to sanitize the operation of this our Agune Chamber boys, who have indeed given a good account of themselves, but whose achievements are now being rubbished by people who are unidentified. Yes, that aspect of it, of the security, has not been addressed, and I want to advise going forward in this new tenure that the governor does something about documenting properly these vigilantes and ensuring that they are properly identified and differentiated from the criminals, so that we will have a very sane.
Okay, we're going to come back to this issue of identification, but let's get to link up with Tony Lisambeki, who is also in Noka, to get a feed from there. Tony, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well, perfectly. Franklin Ebuka and those you are there with in the studio.
Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Chisom Chinedu. Perfect morning. Good morning.
Okay, so we heard from Ben initially, and he told us that the environment has been lit up right there at Dr. Alex Ekweme Square. So we need information from you regarding people who are going to be there, those we have seen already, and then anytime we might begin to expect that the governor is going to arrive there.
Okay, I think first and foremost, the Vice President, His Excellency Kachim Chetima, is in Anambra State. The Governor of Anambra State, some minutes ago, about 30 minutes before now, went to the airport to receive him in person. And both of them drove through the airport ways down to the government house. From the government house, that is the where governor also stays, they will be heading straight to Dr. Alex Ekweme Square, where the event will be taking effect. The former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, is also in Anambra State because he's one of the guests invited for this event. And we also have other high-profile events. Also, I'm aware that former Commonwealth Secretary General Emeka Anyoko, Chief Emeka Anyoko, Adazobosi, is also in the building. Many of them are temporarily in the government house. They will be moving straight to Dr. Alex Ekweme Square, where the event will be holding. In fact, they will be leaving any moment from now. And in fact, the report I have is that they are getting ready to depart to that very area. If you come to the city of Awka, Awka is just like one of the cities you can't really pinpoint in San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Everywhere is black and white. The city is so beautiful. I don't know, because a lot of works were done to ensure that every place, every spot is well taken care of. Awka is just a different city. It's wearing a different look this morning, I can tell you. And people are trooping in their numbers. But definitely there's security. Road traffic officials, they're everywhere. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, they're everywhere. The police, the military security is tight. There is watertight security. I can confidently confirm that to you. And people are wearing different uniforms, donning different uniforms. There is this uniform for this inauguration. There is a uniform. There are different uniforms, different groups, support groups. Many people are marching out for the second term inauguration of Governor Chukwuma Soludo CFR. Of course, it's going to take place at any moment from now. And we also learned that he will take the oath of honor. Definitely, the deputy governor will take the first oath of office, and also the swearing in with the Constitution and oath of allegiance, as we have them. Immediately after that, the governor will do the same, and we expect his second term inaugural speech, because he'll be delivering a speech which everybody is hoping to listen. And of course, we're going to hear from prominent personalities, dignitaries who are already in the building. We cannot go on to mention many of them, but I tell you, in fact, there are some governors who are also in the building. By the time we make them, public, will do so, and also some captains of industry, industrialists, business mogul, different people. In fact, there are some foreign personalities, high commissioners that are. So we are going to look forward to some of these things.
I'm Tony, from the video feed I have here, because I'm connected to the Alex Ekweme screen now. I can see that there are markings on the floor of Alex Ekweme screen, giving it a different feel. I can see the red carpet, the green carpet, the decorations at the pavilion and what have you not. I'm looking at this place where the traditional rulers normally sit, and I can cite that it's still a bit scanty. Can you talk about this? Do we have the chairman of the Traditional Council in Anambra State already there?
Of course, he is at the government house. Most of them do come to the government house, because if you come to the government house, you have a big hall. We have almost 50-something buildings inside the government house. We have lodges. I understand they will be moving at a go. The marking you saw the other time, before Dr. Alex Ekweme Square has won a new shape for long. Not today. It's not a today thing. Even as of last year, those markings were on the floor. You remember when the government said that the floor or the square will not be used for any private activity? You remember that period? It was dedicated for solely government activity, as it was said then, and it's still so as we speak now. Everywhere, as you see, most of these places, they have been designated for different dignitaries, personalities. Many of them are cooling off at the government house as we speak now. So they will be moving possibly with the governor, or even before the governor moves to other guests who have come as we speak now.
Okay, so Tony, thank you. That will be all for now. In the course of the program, we might still connect again. If we didn't connect them by between 11 and 12, we'll talk about the live feed from that very place. Thank you for reporting.
No problem.
All right.
No problem.
All right, thank you. So, Chief, you were saying something about what the governor has to look into in this very second term, and you mentioned the Operation Agunnet Chamber. He talked about profiling. Let's get to understand what you mean. Are you saying that the spad to Mr. Governor, who is in charge, has not been able to do this that you talked about?
Well, it is not the governor that will do it. He has aides that will see to it, but it became a problem towards the end of the last tenure that the numbers of the operatives were not known, and so there was an ad hoc thing that was done to capture their details, and a company was contracted, and they did that for some time. And this is doing the first things last. At the point of recruitment, they are supposed to have been properly documented, or given orientational trainings to acclimatize them to what they are really supposed to do, what the job is all about, giving a code of conduct, and then giving identity card and uniforms. It should emanate from one source. It was done before now. Between 2006 and 2014, the police, through their consultant, was able to do all that. There was no problem of every vigilante that had an ID card had its record on that database, because it's from that database that the ID cards are generated. But we don't have that kind of situation now, and I think it's very confusing and very necessary that the things are done, the right way. So I want to see that happen in this second tenure. I also want to see a different, if they can be called by a better name, because this name Akodo It's too. It's
the SASA.
It's too.
Anti-doubting squad.
You don't see such things in a civilized, environment, in a civilized society. There should be a better name, that can be given to the outfit. And such good names should be eschewed.
Sorry to butt in there, because the name was actually a people-given thing, not the name of the crew. The crew is SASA, right? Yes. Special Anti-Touting Squad or something like that.
Yes.
And if I'm going to be honest, the touting issue we had, or the louting issue rather, we had in Anambra, Onitsha precisely, was one that would make anyone shiver. I have witnessed time and time and time again, women especially, lose their wares because they have refused to give these boys 15 naira. Now let me tell you something. They are not paying 15 naira for anything other than the fact that they came to buy something in Onitsha. Like, you come to buy something and somebody just out of nowhere demands you give the person 100 naira for shopping with your money and paying in full in main market in Ochanja. And so all of these things have drastically reduced. As a matter of fact, I don't remember the last time anybody was told to call Gwani. But chief, before now, you go to Ochanja and you buy things and you are waiting for a tray cycle and you drop them on the floor. You would see angry looking, aggressive young men mob you. So Akodo, I like to think, is a name that just people gave them. But the way they operate may give one a lot of leaves of questions begging for answers. Sometimes they go the way of taking laws into their hands, using these akodo, that's the pestle, using machetes on these louds. And so I was wondering, while they have been partially eradicated, I say partially because as we speak, there are still people who collect revenue from people who trade on the streets. You go to 33 Junction, it is a problem. You go to Oso Okwado, it is a problem. You go to Main Market, it is a problem. All those people who hawk things, carry them on their heads, carry dummies around, they pay revenue to certain people. And my question is, how do we clean up this small remaining percentage of louds from the streets of Main Market? Let them go get actual jobs. And how do we also have a market where we have, maybe this is a market issue now, but let me stick to these louds and how to handle them.
I agree with you that they have helped in no small measure to improve what we had on ground before now, but I'm simply saying that they haven't done that. Let us see it being done the saner way. Pestos are what you see in the kitchen, not what people arm themselves with in the public and are chasing it out. I mean, at times when you see these things and you're a visitor to the state, your first reaction will be, that of to take to flight, and when you are scared and you are like, what is this? It does not happen in any other place except in Anambra State. I want to see these things done better, and in a more civilized way. Yes, we need such actions. We need it because we have an impossible populace to deal with. People who take the laws into their hands at will. Yes, we need to deal decisively with such people. But let us do it in a way that will be saner than in the way it was done in the immediate past. That's simply what I'm saying.
Let's talk about the president who is going to leave Nigeria today for a state visit to United Kingdom as a guest of their Majesties King Charles III and Queen Camilla. Of course, we know that he's going to go alongside his wife. They are going to be at the Windsor Castle from Wednesday, March 18 to Thursday, March 19th, where they are going to be hosted by, King Charles. And we also understand that this happens to be the first state visit by a Nigerian leader in 37 years. And I must say that this government has been playing that up, as a good regard for Nigeria. And looking at the lineup of activities lined up for this, of course, Mr. President is going to have an engagement with the Nigerian community, have a meeting with the Prime Minister at 10 Downing Street. They'll talk about deals, sign agreements, and what have you not. But Nigerians are asking what this state visit means to Nigeria. Is this something we have to celebrate, given that, of course, money has to be expended? If you look at delegation going with Mr. President, a good number of them, and of course, they're going to get their extra codes and what have you not. But that's by the way. So what does Nigeria stand to gain from this, the way it's been celebrated? Is this something we can just say, oh, it just happens to any leader, other than talk it up as if it's a recognition and legitimacy to the government?
I think Nigeria is going to benefit quite a lot from this visit. We need the image of the country needs to be properly laundered. We have a very bad image before now, and I must give it to the president. He has been doing a lot in that regard before now. This visit is a step in the right direction. I know after it will come investments to the country. We had a similar visit to the United Arab Emirates in no too distant past, and quite a lot of successes in the business area was recorded. And I have seen the programs that are lined up for the visit of the president, and I want to believe that the regard we had once enjoyed from our colonial masters, the British people, is once again being relieved, and I want to give kudos to the president for this. And I think in the area of diplomacy, it's not doing badly. We saw the threat by the United States president to storm Nigeria and to take over the battle, which Nigerian government have not been able to do. And we also saw them, matching words with actions when they bombed some parts of Sokoto state. But that was the last we heard of it. We know that ever since then, the American military personnel have come into Nigeria and are working hand in hand with the Nigerian government. I think this is a success in a diplomatic handling of events. We did not see the worst happening. Instead of a bombardment of Nigeria, which will not blow, it's an evil that will not blow anybody any good if it is allowed to happen. We are seeing the American government coming down to assist to fight terrorism, and I think the president should be commended for it.
The president should be commended, and he's getting his commendation. However, like I would always say, proactivity against reactivity, Chief. I say this with all sense of responsibility, because if the president gets his boys to do what actually needs to be done, we wouldn't be needing to launder image. I bet we wouldn't be needing that. And so the big question at this point is, every single day you hear president has given marching orders, relocate this person. I'm pretty sure that maybe the new Disu maybe asked to relocate to Maiduguri because of the bomb blast of yesterday. I'm just guessing. It's something we are used to, but we still keep getting the same results. Oftentimes I ask myself, it's one thing to have them move from one locality to where? Are you collaborating with your neighbors, the people you need actual collaboration with, to make sure that they are properly annihilated? Because what you just have is them revolving around circles. You chase them from Zamfara, they enter Kaduna. You chase them from Kaduna, they find a way down to Benue. There is no cooperation. It looks like it's different battles we are fighting in different parts of the country, but the same people doing the same thing. And so I am curious to find out how Mr. President is going to have his men work, together to nip this monster. Maybe not in the bud, because this is a full-blown tree we have here, but we need to cut it down.
I'm forced to I agree with you. Of course, border policing has more to do with being proactive than being reactive. And yes, I think we need to do a lot more of proactive policing, because in most cases, when crime take place, the probability of busting the crime is not not a very good one. There are chances that you will bust it, there are chances that you will not bust it. But if you prevent the crime from happening, you have a better and a safer environment. Yes, our security personnel needs to invest more in technology, more in intelligence gathering, more in community policing, more in anything that will aid proactive policing. All these things I've mentioned are things that is proactive policing. And of course, yes, state police. Crime is local. Every crime, every locality has its own peculiar crime, and people in that area will be able to deal with such crimes. So you need to rely more on the people, and that's where community policing initiative comes into play. Yes, of course, I agree with you, but that's just the situation we have found ourselves, where we keep reacting to situations instead of taking steps to prevent it.
Okay, this very meeting we gathered is going to culminate in the signing of various MOUs and agreements, and they include those on trade, investment, defense, and cultural operation. And one of the instances is that the president is going to witness the sign of landmark 746 million pounds financing deal between UK Export Finance and the Nigerian Ports Authority, and then Federal Ministry of Finance to support the refurbishment of two of Nigeria's major national maritime infrastructures, and they are the Lagos Port Complex, Apapa Quays, and then the Tinkan Island Port Complex. Now, but some persons, when you talk to them about our relationship with UK, they will tell you that Nigeria should be thinking somewhere else, because according to them, UK did not leave Nigeria in a better place. They are saying that our relationship with UK has been parasitic, more of UK benefiting rather than Nigeria benefiting from that.
But that's Americans will tell you Americans first. Yes, every country looks out for the interest of that country. There's no free meal anywhere. There's no free meal anywhere. And remember, these people are not coming to you. You are the one that's going to them. They don't need you. You are the one that needs them. And so you might not have any choice but to dance to their tune. He who pays the piper dictates the tune. We are relying on them. We have not been able to develop our economy the way it should be, and there's no economy anywhere that is independent of the other. And then it's all about interest. Whatever you do whatever you engage in, interest comes to play. The interest of your own interest against the interest of the person you are going into whatever deal with. And so I don't think we. Yes, I agree with the people who says that we have not really benefited much from in fact, the bane of our problem is caused by our being colonized by the British people, and for some time they have been, sidelined from the politics of Nigeria. Just the present government that is gravitating back to working with the. I think they even want to come back, because for some time more attention has been paid to France, who we understand will be part of the the new taxation policy of the federal government. And this might all be what has influenced the British government to want to begin again to extend a hand of relationship. Yes, we should trade with care and caution. We should not take everything hook, line, and sinker. Well, it could be a bait, but it's a safe bait. We just have to go for it. We cannot exist in isolation.
Okay, we're going to go for commercial break now. After the break, it's going to be time for us to open the phone lines for the callers to come in and add their views on issues we have raised this very morning. The phone lines remain 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. And our Facebook page, Udala Radio, is there. You can as well use it to ventilate your opinion. Stay with us.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Quality bread, Wendy's bread, for your family breakfast. Wendy's bread, I'll pack it on the yellow. Wendy's bread, mama papa they like Wendy's bread, it's on the do. Wendy's bread, even children they like Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, I mean Wendy's bread, get the better tasty we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread, Wendy's your body Wendy's bread, tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, Second Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside Mission Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza at Tand Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread. Wendy's bread.
Onitsha, una don ready for the biggest Easter shutdown. Golden Promise Entertainment presents Easter Golden Fiesta. One massive night of music, comedy, and correct vibes. It happens Sunday, April 12, 2026 from 5 p.m. till dawn for Onitsha Mall ShopRite. Host for the night, MC Bim and MC Feargod. Music policy by Emmy Black, Ivado, and Sparkle T. Laughter with comedians like Twin Parrots, Prince Neche, 5 Naira, Dibia Update, Holy Baba, and Sister Equitos, plus live performances from Mweze and CJ Ozugo, and DJs who will keep the party hot all night. DJ Staffy, DJ White Barrel, DJ Two Step, DJ Tony Banks, DJ Freezy, and DJ NK. Tickets to go fast. Regular 2,000 Naira, VIP 5,000 Naira, VVIP table for 5, 200,000 Naira. For sponsorship, bookings, and enquiries, call 0814-394-2802 or 0808 441-5156. Easter Golden Fiesta, the party we on nature will talk about. Supported by Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Onitsha ndị nwe ahịa, nke a bụ ụzọ anyị si asị unu daalụ maka ọmarịcha otu afọ nke nzikọrịta ozi. Udala Radio dị otu afọ n'ọnwa Maachị a. N'ọnwa Maachị a niile, Udala nwere onyinye pụrụ iche maka ịgba afọ ọhụrụ a. Ịzụta advert slot abụọ, inwe otu mgbakwunye onyinye n'efu. Ịnụrụ nke ọma, ohere nke mgbasa ozi ahịa, ozi ọbụla maọbụ nke program, ịkwụ ụgwọ, nweta ohere abụọ, anyị agbakwunyere gị otu. Nke a bụ ohere ị nwere ime ka ndị Onitsha n'obodo ndị ọzọ nụ ma mara maka ahịa gị. Gbata ọsọ ozugbo n'ihi ohere pụrụ iche a malitere ugbu a ma bụrụ nke ga-abịa n'isi njedebe n'ụbọchị nke 31 n'ọnwa Maachị nke afọ a, n'ọnwa mgbakwunye afọ Udala. Maka ndebanya na ajụjụ, kpọọ anyị na 0803-350-4206 maọbụ ịbịa n'ụlọ ọrụ anyị dị n'Onitsha na nọmba 5 Okono Street n'okirikiri DMGS Roundabout. Ya bụ inwe ike ịkpọ anyị na 0803-350-4206 maọbụ ịbịa n'ụlọ ọrụ anyị na nọmba 5 Okono Street n'okirikiri DMGS Roundabout Onitsha. Udala Radio emeela otu afọ n'ọnwa Maachị a, ọkpọkọpi n'ezie.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Now. You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, you're listening to the Polity on Udala Radio 4.7 FM. It's 10:33 a.m. My name is Franklin Debuka. Chisun Chinedu is right here, and we have our guest, Chief Chris Okeudeze. He's the one who has been, responding to questions from the studio here. And like Tony told us, of course, I can confirm that former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, has also arrived, and he's also in Norcan alongside Obasanjo, the vice president, Kashin Shettima, and others. So let's go to the phone lines now. Hello, good morning. Josh, hold on. Your area is quite noisy. Okay, Josh, if you can hear me, please try to call back. That area was quite noisy that we are not hearing you. So if you can call back, stay in a better place so that we'll be able to have a good communication. Good morning.
Wonderful morning to you, Franklin. My regards to Udala FM 1 year anniversary that's coming forth, and the mega issue that's happening in Anambra State today, which is the swearing in of the second term of the professor into power. I just want to say that we have come a long way. We have seen governors that have performed and non-performing governors in Anambra State. And do they think that the prof is on board, and we are seeing what he's doing. One thing I will always say is that the government is supposed to be proactive in whatever you're doing. If there are any governor I hold in a higher esteem, is Governor of Abia State. The man, in fact, when you want to see democracy, practice of democracy, just look at Governor of Abia State. I'm not trying to undermine other governors, but we go for the best. Our governor is doing his best. We can see his best, where it has landed us to. So I think, like the president himself, who have traveled out of the shores of the country, even when they are killing, bombing in Borno State, I don't think any right-thinking president or a governor can leave your state or your country when people are being bombed, being slaughtered, and you just travel out for one summit. Even if it's an official engagement, you can say cancel it. So I'm disappointed in the set of leaders we have, because they are not giving a governance a human face. They are just running the government, take them to court, they flat cut orders. I also overheard that this case of demolition of Anambra State Market, some group took him to court, and the court asked for restraint, and all those things we have not. So even at the federal level, you see a FCT minister, when judgment. So it is something that you look at our own democracy, you wonder what most of our elites are doing. If other leaders did what they did, can they come into power? If somebody like Obasanjo mentioned them, Salami Abubakar mentioned them, about this military regime, even somebody like Shio Musa Yaradua, even the good luck Jonathan, can they talk to these people and say, is this the democracy we handed over to you? Where people don't have right to protest, people cannot say their view. In fact, it's a very unfortunate situation we find ourselves in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, DK. By the time we progress on this very program, we'll be able to talk about the issue he raised.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Franklin.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
My name is Honorable James Mero Okuchukume JP Okulola Ochendo Umuezeneke. I wouldn't know. Can I go on?
Yes, you can go on, sir.
Let me also thank the guest in the house. He spoke well. So let me start by saying that he did so well from all the analysis he made. But I quite disagree with him when he said that he's appreciating the president or his effort in security. And I want to ask him, which effort has the president has been making to see that the country is in peace? Okay, if the president is doing what he's supposed to do, if he's supposed to travel, or he might have had in the duty, killing many people in his country. All this travel that he has been making, what impact has it been in Nigeria? So I want to disagree with him. You can't keep on doing the same thing. Why innocent people are not alive, whether they are not. And they are telling me that the president is doing well. He's not doing well. This cause is said. How you can every day, there's no day that you wake up in this country without hearing that insurgents and all these terrorists have killed many people. And we all every day tell them that the chief security he has met with them and giving them order. All that order, what increase has he made in Nigeria? I am very, very annoyed. Innocent people have been killed. And he's not doing anything about it. Look at the country, a basic power supply. He's not doing anything about it. Only traveling. Thank you and God bless you.
Okay, thank you. The mayor.
I don't think I said.
Good morning. We're going to correct that. I'll come to that. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Is that Josh?
Yeah, my name is George.
Okay, Josh, go on. Go on.
You see, let me say something here. All the travel that our president has been going, which benefit can we come out now and say that this is exactly, you see, the US coming to Nigeria to come and do whatever they are doing. There's nothing concerning the presidency about it because it's the issue of the king of the Christians, where the Christian community has been crying for a very long time before the US president now decided to at least to do something. So there's nothing concerning, even the president has been traveled to US once since he came into power. I'm not trying to tell your guests in the studio there that even now that is going on, they are not doing politics. The time our president is saying, well, after all, he went to go and see the king of England. It's all those trash. That's what they are just doing. Imagine what happened yesterday. Did our president even supposed to think of traveling? You're asking Bonnie. You are trying to chase that. The same thing happened. Bunch of people who was killed anyway. The next thing he traveled. It's because of the Nigerians are crying and shouting. That is the only time that I do not believe that, okay, we try to go. Even the visitor said, did they even see the people that are affected? No. So let us concentrate the spade. If somebody's not doing well, let us say that person is not doing well. Look at the problem, massive problem that we are facing in Nigeria. In the economy measure that we are facing. You can't buy food, you can't buy cooking gas, you can't buy this, no light. You are telling me that you are traveling to nothing, no benefit that we have. That just play politics. What's our taxpayer money?
All right, just thank you.
There's no different of all the old travel that you have been traveling since. That this one is going to feel anything good. So let us just concentrate the space, please. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Just so, Chief, you were saying something you wanted to correct. So
yeah, I don't remember saying that the president is doing very well in the area of security. I said this country, we have an image problem. If you ever have to travel out of Nigeria, you begin to understand what I mean. We are being discriminated against because of the image problem that Nigerians have. And what he's doing in the area of laundering the image of Nigeria is what I believe is very laudable. And that's where I commended him. And I also commend the trips, the foreign trips, because it might not yield results in the short time, but on the long run, we are definitely going to get some positive results from the investments that will come in, the MOUs that he will sign, and all that. So it's not entirely bad. Yes, I agree with you. We have problems inside the country. We have these killings in Maiduguri, but he also have people on ground who are. He has done a lot of changes in the security area. We saw the change of the chief of defense staff, who has given a very good account of himself, and we saw, we saw that they have rejigged the efforts of the Nigerian army in fighting terrorism, and they are taking the war to the terrorists. Of course, when you turn up the heat, you'll have situations where the people you are up against will also up their game, and that is what we are seeing.
Okay, so we'll go back to the phone line, but there's a question I'd like you to keep in mind. You talked about image laundering, and I was thinking about image laundering. Is that what we should be concerned with, or to deal with the issues that make us look bad? Because perhaps this could be like a window dressing, just like somebody who has taken his bath and he decided to wear perfume and wear good pomade. Let's go back to the phone lines. We're going to get to that later. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my speaker.
All right, your name?
Good morning, my guest. My name is Honorable Chumubo. I come from Agriculture.
Go on, sir.
Yeah, thank you. There's something I want to add on the issue of our president traveling from one country to England. I saw it as something as an opportunity.
Okay, can you be more audible?
That, our soldiers, our army doesn't have a equipment to fight this terrorists. Because I know that fighting terrorists is not an easy cause. But it must take the government some necessary things like equipment to fight them. Because like these terrorists we have here in Nigeria, I heard that some of them have a drone and they are now working tirelessly to make sure that they have conquer our soldiers. And our soldiers have to be equipped. But the government, our president going to London to either to easy to buy or just to go there to eat and to drink. I don't understand. And there's something I want to ask as a question. All this local security we have here in the state, is their performances not enough by talking about the state police? Because when you talk about the state police, I thought that all this security we have in the locality can have information, they have everything to give to the soldiers or to help to fight this terrorists. Why is it that we are talking about the state police every time while we have all these local police? Their performance is not good. That is what I want to ask. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you for asking. Your question has been noted. We are going to address it. Good morning. Okay. Try again. 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. Your name?
My name is Linus.
Could you say your name again?
For now, right? I want to speak about the area of this Akudo people.
Okay.
Sometimes you see at this AC way by Tanzan. Along that road now, you see many times, maybe around evening time, those people will drive come and correct their chain and make the people, the keke people, back there anyhow, do whatsoever they want to do, because their keke people normally pay for those Aburu people that are working there. So when it be evening time, them they say they will come and take their own shoe. In everything what they do for life, when the thing just come like this, a little by little, before you know it, they set their position, and everybody begins to behave the way the thing was before.
Okay. Thank you. Your issue has been noted. Hello. Good morning. 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. Good morning.
Hello, Franklin. Good morning.
Yes, welcome on board.
Hello, Franklin. Good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you.
Yes, I greet the guests in the house. So good morning.
Good morning.
Please, I want to ask a question to Franklin. My name is Chimeze, calling from Onitsha.
Okay, Chimeze, go on.
Yes, I want to ask you, Franklin, please, the guest in the house, is he one of a special advisor to the president?
So is that a question?
Then another thing that I want to say is this, because he made mention of the trip of president to many countries that later it will be yielding fruit. I want to ask him, the one that Buhari traveled for 8 years, what are the fruits that are we reaping now? The president that said that he's fighting in corruption or insecurity, they indicted the Minister of Defense as one of the sponsors of Boko Haram. He did nothing. The special advisor to the president on the security, Ribadu, the one they indicted him, what did he do? Please, let's focus what is happening on this particular country. If the case is among the city boys, you let us know. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So, Chief Udala, I'm asking you if you are the president's special advisor or if you are a member of City Boys. So, Zalonagi.
I am not. I'm not an advisor to the president, and I don't speak for the president. I just speak realities.
Okay, so let's get to the question. Somebody asked about local security. What about their performances? If you look at the performances, are they not doing well? If they are doing well, or if they are if they are good enough, why the clamor for state police?
My response to that is, if you are listening, the person who asked this question, you can't have too many security agencies. It can never be too much. What you can have too much of are the criminals themselves. So the more the security agencies that are out to fight insecurity, the better for us. Yes, if you have state police and they are funded with their own area of operation, it will help to fight insecurity. It does not take away the local security. Those ones are closer to the people than any police will ever be, and they need to be in existence because they are the ones that are right there where the crimes are being committed. They know these people and they are able to deal with them. You can't take away that from police. All I'm saying is, let these things be done properly. The operations of the local security properly organized, well documented. We know who they are. We don't have criminals acting like security people. Let's deal with that situation. And then if we will have a state police come on board, of course, it will help us to fight insecurity. It will complement the efforts of the national police.
Okay, so let's take this very quick before we get to other questions. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
This is Uche. I'm from Ella.
Uche, go on.
Please, the girl in the studio. I think he's just saying based on his own profession. Please, brother, he should go on the streets or on the roads, on Nigeria roads, especially in the Sabah, and
are you still there?
Are doing deadly things on the road. Deadly things on the road. People are afraid because, for example, in Aba, one case in Aba, a policeman killed an Okada man because he didn't give him 100 naira. The man refused to do that. He shot him dead right there. He died. After 2 days, he died. So we are seeing many things. People are afraid of their life. A policeman will stop you on the road. Maybe after everything, he said you should give him that. Before you know it, there will be a clash. And somebody will go. How will you confront that person? Okay, some police need to be trained again. Some people don't even know what they are doing on the road. They are what they do is only to collect money and they don't even care to check some vehicles. All they know is to take money from innocent citizens. So this is needs to be checked and
okay, all right, thank you. I think your point had been noted, so we go to our Facebook page to see the reactions there.
Okay, then the handle is Udala Radio 104.7 FM. We have a few comments here. We're starting with Yosif Ifeanyi Chukwu Onumba. He says those policemen need to be sacked, all of them. They need to leave the police force. Collectors, that's what he called them. Master Bayes JP says civil servants and public servants should this especially police and army should be paid like footballers. Dan Dollars, he says let those police men involved face the law. Let this arrest not be the formality, because Nigeria can be funny, and the Nigerian police that is rude and arrogant, they can slap and beat you for nothing. Nigeria can be funny. We've also seen them. This is the size of the comment. Chief, one of their easiest slang is, I will shoot you here and nothing will happen. Before you say Jack, you hear, I will shoot you here and nothing will happen. And so sometimes when people talk about challenging, showing how much you know your rights to an armed person, a trigger happy, most likely armed person, I find it difficult to understand. Maybe you'd like to throw more light on that as we round off.
Well, I would want to advise, like I said, standing up to your right in a very courteous way, and I think there's something you say that kind of flows with that. You can even do it jokingly, and you just disarm the policeman. Look, some of these incidents have been busted by people who take secret video. I will also advise, if you can, in any situation where you are under threat and you are able to cover it. We have seen a lot of these things being addressed by those kind of videos that are taken secretly. Don't take it when the man is watching you, because that one will be another problem. Anybody who is doing the right thing will not mind being videoed, but those who are doing the wrong thing are definitely going to descend on anybody that tries to video them. But that remains an evidence that can be used to deal with this kind of situation. So where you can, if you are not being observed, you can hold up your phone, pretend that you are trying to dial a number while you are actually videoing those people who are acting in a manner that they shouldn't be acting. And if those kind of videos go viral, the situation will be handled and other people will learn their lesson. The technology is making things easier and better for us.
Okay, so let's look at this quickly. Somebody said, is it not insensitive for Mr. President to be traveling to the UK why there was why there were bomb explosions in Maiduguri? It happened in 3 places, and from what we confirm, 23 people were killed and over 100 injured. And they're saying he can shelve the travel because people were killed. What do you think?
I tend to agree with them that it's a very pathetic situation, and that some form of sensitivity to human life should be shown. But I won't decide for the president. I'm not in position to. If he had taking steps to ensure that the situation is addressed and has dispatched people to do that on his behalf, I don't know. But I know that the trip abroad, which has been long planned, is a step in the right direction as far as rejigging the economy and image of Nigeria is concerned.
Okay, so at this point we have to end today's conversation, and I must thank you, Chief Chris Okude, as a security consultant, for joining today's program. We appreciate your time.
Pleasure is mine, as always. Thank you.
And like I told you, that if you get a feed from Oka,